All right, let's start with the Woody Valley Libero harness. I've had this harness for a little while. Before we even get in the harness, I just want to point something out that I've seen some people not quite understanding, that this harness is kind of like a race harness in its function. So there's a slider here, you see, and it's connected. See how it's sliding back and forth? So it's connected by that strap there to the boot of the harness. So there's a direct connection to the boot. When you kick into the harness, you push on the boot, it's going to pull that hang loop back on the slider, and it's going to come back to where you want it to be, depending on how you adjust it. And it should come back to where your hips are, the CG. That's the retainer strap that I'm holding on to right now. And yeah, it's a pretty critical adjustment in the harness, and I definitely had to adjust it when I got this harness. So I just wanted to show people that, or remind them of it. It's in the manual. And yeah, you'll see when I kick into the boot here what happens, or what should happen with the harness. I mean, I like to have these hang straps go fully aft. I feel like it helps me get more prone. Some people probably don't want it to be fully aft. They might want it like in the middle. But you're going to start out like any back-plated harness with those hang straps fully forward. And you'll watch as I kick in. So you see there we go. The hang straps come back. And that's pretty crucial to the function of the harness. There I go, I'm zipping up. And this setup I've got here with this trolley and this whole rig, I'm trying to simulate where my hang position would be, where the bar would be. So this is trim. I am gonna come to sort of a best glide here, and let's go into like a little bit of a dive, not a dive, but speeding up. One thing that is interesting, if you look at this whole setup with the geometry of it all, my nose is like at the bar almost, and I'm just gonna lower my angle of dangle now. Just take the cleat out, put the cleat back on the shoulders. So my forehead is on the bar pretty well. And a lot of people would say this is really low, but you notice that, so when I start to pull in, as well as going forward, I'm going up, because this whole thing is on a giant circle. Like if I could pull all the way around, I go in a big circle. And so when your hang glider is under you, of course you're not really going forward. The bar is coming back, but the bar is going down as well as back. So a lot of people, they get worried that they're going to hang too low and the bar will catch them as they pull in. But when the bar is coming back toward you, it's also going down, because it's describing a huge circle. Think about it. Anyway, that is sort of a misconception that some people have. Here I am. Yeah, I'm pretty well proned out, and let's get out of the harness. So just gonna unzip. I want to rock back up. You see how the sliders came forward on the harness, and this is how I'm hanging. This is how I'm dangling without touching the glider, say. And I really can't get awfully upright. I mean, that's as upright as I'm gonna get, and then like a flare. So that's the Libero harness. It's an awesome harness. I really like it. It takes some adjusting. There's like a whole ton of adjustments you can have on the legs. I spent hours adjusting the thing, and you should too if you own one. So now we're gonna look at a totally different style of harness, the Will's Wing Flylite3 cocoon harness. I've had many hours flying this harness, and it's a cocoon. It's like a total pain in the arse to get into. Look at that. There's lines everywhere. Like trying to adjust it all. Things get snagged. You know. Yeah. All right. Here we go. I mean, it's not the biggest deal in the world. And kicking into a cocoon is just not as easy as kicking into a pod. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, you can practice it and you can make it work, but it's tricky. Anyway, here we are. It's perfectly comfortable. I'll talk about the comfort of the harnesses in a minute, like the relative comfort. So again, I'm hanging nice and low. I don't have the chute installed in this harness at the moment, so actually I can't hang this low when I have the chute installed, and that is one of the issues with the cocoon harness. Like, if you like to hang low, and there are good reasons why you should hang nice and low, you just can't hang as low in a cocoon harness because you've got like almost a fist of parachute in the way. I mean, it's not a big deal, but I see a lot of pilots with cocoon harnesses and huge big parachutes, and they're hanging 2 fists above the bar, when they're pulled in, and it's like it's very high. And I'm going to demonstrate later what it's like to be that high and to try to pull in, and how it looks compared to before. Yeah, there's not a lot to say about the cocoon. Alright, so here's my Moyes Matrix race harness. This is a full backplate harness, and in terms of function, it's almost the same, identical to the Libero. Here is the pillow that I use with this harness, and I bought this harness used from someone. We're the same height, we're the same foot to shoulder height. The harness fits perfectly, except the guy that I bought it from had a larger chest than me only by an inch and a half, a couple inches circumference, but that was enough that if I don't wear a pillow under my chest, then I'm gonna have a scoop behind my neck. Basically, the harness is too baggy in front, and this is the easiest solution to that. And it turns out to actually be kind of comfortable in a way, like resting on the pillow on your chest. It's kind of nice. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. This harness is great. There are niggles, like trying to get the zipper to go. It's the closure on the zipper so close to the top of your chest that you can't really see it when you're trying to zip it up. That's annoying. I mean, with practice, it's better. But anyway, here we go. We've taken off. I am hanging in this harness. The slider is fully forward, and now the slider has gone to maybe the mid position. And here I cannot zip up this harness. So I've zipped up the top zip, and I've got it down to near my belly button. But look, I can't zip the thing up, and this has never happened to me before. And what's going on right now is that one of my shoelaces has come undone. When I'm flying, I'm very, very careful with shoelaces, and I'm very vigilant. Right here, I'm way more relaxed, casual about the whole thing because I'm just making this video. But here it is, my shoelace came undone, it got jammed in the zipper, I can't zip up. Fortunately, the shoelace didn't jam in the zipper. But, you know, you can imagine in flight, if you were pissing around with this sort of thing, it just, yeah, it could be annoying or really dangerous. So that is one thing about harnesses with all sorts of zips, is that you have to be well aware of what's going on and all of the things that could get jammed in them. Whereas with the cocoon, obviously, you don't. That it's more simple that way. So that's definitely a point for a cocoon. Having said that, this harness with a back plate it's the most comfortable of all three harnesses. The way that it spreads the load over your body is just superior. Especially on the shoulders, it's just nicer. The pitch adjustment system on this harness is okay. It took a long time to adjust it so that I could adjust my angle of dangle effectively. You're about to see me pitch way forward. Okay, so now the slider is fully aft and we are fully prone, maybe even like slightly too low. But I'm still able to clear my sort of bar, if you will, or the trolley in this case. Just, you know, it's a really nice harness to hang in. And I've hung on this harness for hours, and it's just less fatiguing than the other two harnesses. Like it's just a fact. So this is the big advantage to having a backplate harness. Other than, you know, it also cuts down on drag. I mean, clearly there's hardly any lines to be seen, so drag is minimal. Even wind noise is lower as well, because of the less lines. It takes a bit of effort to get that slider to come forward. It's still fine, but you know, I was having to really push a bit. Very similar angle in which to flare to the other harnesses, you know, and I've got a little snippet at the end of these videos to show you that the angle at which you're rocking up at is super similar for all three harnesses. So people are always going on about how you can't get properly upright in a race harness, or how you can't get upright, you know, how you can get bolt upright in a cocoon harness. Well, I'll show you at the end of this video that is not really true. So now we are going to take the cocoon harness, and I'm going to, this is a pneumatic walkie stacker that I've got this stuff on. So I've just raised it up by like a fist and a half. Now we're in that situation I was describing before, where I've got a big parachute on, or I would have a parachute, and I'm a fist and a half with the chute above the bar using a front-mounted parachute. And you'll see when I'm dangling in this harness, my arms are at like a 90 degree on the elbow, and the other harnesses, my elbow was over 90 degrees. And there's a lot of people I see hanging in hang gliders with their arms bent in this manner, and it doesn't look super high, but when I come to pull in to best glide, or when I come to like really speed up, there's so much more effort going on in this situation here. There's so much more effort on the arms. It's hard to emphasize how much harder it is to pull my body in right now, being just a bit higher. All of that work is on the arms, and before, the work, it was more on the shoulders. So ergonomically, this is way less good for controlling a hang glider. And I'm having to work pretty hard to initiate roll controls as well. Yeah, you see I'm like squirming. Okay, here's a comparison from earlier. So pulling in really far, all the force is going through the shoulders. Here's an example of the angle of dangle and the flare timing. So that's the video. I hope that there's some interesting things that you can think about, and leave some comments. All right, thanks.